last video, which probably won't be my last video since I keep making more. Um, we're going to talk specifically about my summer vacation schedule because I told you that the complaint was filed over my summer vacation, but I mean, I want to give you more proof than just my word. So here is my spring schedule, 2021. Intermediate sewing pants was the last class that out of the classes that I ended up taking spring term. Intermediate sewing pants was the final class for spring term because this class got dropped, 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 and then overseas production got added at some point in that dropping process. But when it comes down to it, after the actual classes that I took, intermediate sewing pants uh, was the final class. June 29th was the last day, which was a Tuesday, I believe. Um, but the point is, this class was on ground. Um, the only other class that I had that remained was the sustained design class. And this class is online. So obviously I wasn't on campus for that class. And then uh, obviously the overseas um, production class was an online class that I obviously didn't show up to. So um, essentially these were my only two classes that term. One was online, one was on the ground, meaning I only had one teacher that term, and that was the teacher that I made the recording of, where she was saying that you could tell that she didn't find me threatening at all. Um, so I wanted to show you that to confirm June 29th was the last day because I'm trying to confirm my summer break. Now here's the summer schedule, right, of 2021. Um, and obviously I got wrongfully dismissed this term, but before I was wrongfully dismissed, I did start going to my classes. And the first classroom of the term was July 17th. So my summer vacation started on June 29th at 1 p.m. when the class ended, because the class was from 10 to 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on June 29th. And so my first class after my summer break started on July 17th, and Candace Freeman filed a complaint on July 7th, 8 days later. We're going to look at a bigger calendar so you can see it. So this is right here is the last day of school, right? And the first day of school, we're going to look at a better picture of this. So here's a zoomed in one. So this is my summer vacation schedule of 2021. My summer vacation lasted from June 29th to July 17th. So the highlighted areas are my summer vacation. Boom, 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 all the way to there. So if we count the days between my last day of class and the first complaint that was made, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. So on 8 days, that is when I had a complaint filed against me to Veterans Voc Rehab by Candace Freeman. But if we look at this calendar, this was the day that I filed a complaint against her. So summer break started here. Boom, boom, boom. After 7 days, I filed a complaint against her for unprofessional conduct, which I have clearly demonstrated throughout this whole thing. And after I wrote a polite, professional letter where I stated the problems, I stated how it affected my life, and I uh, asked her to fix it. But at no point was I disrespectful, rude, or anything like that. I was a complete professional. Um, I was going to send the letter directly to her boss, but I decided to give her one last chance and a professional courtesy to send the complaint to her. So I filed the complaint uh, against her to the school. But the thing is, she's the only point of contact for the school. And so I knew that she was going to get the complaint. So like I had the owner of the school's email. I could have emailed the owner, but I decided to try to deal with this between me and her because I wasn't trying to get her in trouble. I just wanted her to stop screwing with my life and stop screwing with me scholastically, stop dropping me from classes, give me my money back, start answering the phone calls, return voicemails, just like common courtesy, like of professionalism that I paid for, uh, and I was they were contractually obligated to provide to me, and they didn't. So again, my summer break started. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I filed a complaint on my summer break, and then on the 8th day, the very next day after I filed the complaint against her, she files the complaint to the VA, gets all my VA veterans benefits taken from me based off of complete lie. And then I start back up school on the 17th. And the thing is, even after all of this, the school has never once ever said a single word to me about my knife, ever. And so the only reason I even know the knife is an issue is because Veterans Voc Rehab stripped my benefits away from me because of a knife that the school's never even said one word about to me. Not one word. So if Veterans Voc Rehab didn't do what they did, I wouldn't even know that my knife was an issue because no one's ever said anything to me about it ever, other than they thought it was cool. Um, so I don't know about you, but something smells fishy here because if I was such a threat, why did Candace Freeman wait for 8 days after my summer vacation started to file a complaint against me? You know, the day after I filed a complaint against her. I mean, Veterans Voc Rehab doesn't find that at all suspicious in light of the fact that her absolute unprofessionalism, but hey, you know, whatever. Also, if I was such a threat, why didn't Candace Friedman report me to the police? Wouldn't it make more sense that if I was threatening students with a knife, that I don't know, you should probably uh, call someone that could actually protect you from a threat? Um, I mean, and the fact that the teacher stayed after school with me that day. So obviously, I mean that I must have held her at knife point when she took that picture of me holding those amazing pair of jeans that I made that were the first pair of jeans that I ever made. Obviously, uh, I was I had a knife in my hands and I was obviously threatening her, and she was scared, and so that's why she volunteered to take the pictures. And that's also why she volunteered to stay after school with me for free rather than charging me $45 an hour. Because obviously, with that knife, I scared her so much that she wanted to stay after school with me for free. Um, and the thing is, also, since this pandemic started, Candace Friedman has worked remotely. So I have not seen Candace Friedman in over a year. I do not know where she lives. And if there was any threats at all, there would be record of it because she doesn't answer her phone. She hasn't answered her phone in since April 21st, and I have proof of that. So she can't say I threatened her over the phone because that's a lie. Now, what that means is that the only way I could have threatened her is over a voicemail, um, which you'll see in my phone records that like I may have left one or two voicemails, but if they were threatening, she would have saved them, right? Like she wouldn't have deleted them if those voicemails were threatening, because obviously they'll use anything against me they can. So if any of those voicemails were actually threatening, like she would have them, right? She'd have that evidence against me, like I have the evidence against them, like because the VA made it sound like uh, Portland Fashion Institute was continually telling them that I was making threats against them as reprisal for them reporting me about their knife. And the thing is, I I've never contacted the school about my knife other than when I originally told the owner about the knife. That's the first time I talked about the knife, and no one responded to me about the knife. And then sent another email to the school about the knife when I sent that email that with evidence that exonerated me. I I sent them and I said, "Hey, look, obviously this knife rule isn't real." So, as far as my recollection can tell, that's the only time I've talked about the knife, and every time I've talked about it, no one's ever responded to me from the school. So, like, um, I filed a FOIA request because I'm trying to get the emails between the school and Veterans Voc Rehab because I want to understand these threats that I was supposedly making because Veterans Voc Rehab wouldn't tell me what I was saying. They wouldn't tell me what threats were being made or who's making them, saying I'm making these threats. They just made these broad accusations that like I had no idea what they were, and they wouldn't even tell me if the school was claiming that I was continuing to threaten them, and so that's why I was worried about the swatting, since freaking the VA thinks I'm absolutely batshit crazy because they're all morons, and so I was sincerely afraid that the school would push this so far that a SWAT team would show up at my door, and I had reason to be afraid because the VA wouldn't tell me what threats I was supposedly making. So when someone's telling you that you're making threats against them, but you have no idea what those threats are, like they could be telling that person that you're planning on doing a mass murdering session and you don't know. And if that's what they're telling them, then yeah, the SWAT teams are going to kick down your door. And so I had reason to be afraid. I was legitimately afraid for my life that my school was going to get me killed because of the lies they were telling, because out of jealousy. I mean, I showed you that uh, I've showed you in the video. If you haven't watched it already, I showed you how I created a design that was so amazing that after that it destroyed the owner of the school got angry when she saw the design because it was just so amazing, and teachers were calling me an artistic genius. And I posted on my social media, and people were trying to buy my homework assignment from me. And I'm like, oh, it's just a homework assignment, guys. I'm not selling anything. But people were trying to buy it from me because they were just so blown away by how beautiful it is. And as soon as I had good grades and never had any issues, then I turn in that design. And then after that, my official transcript shows that I just started failing out of classes. And I've gone through and I proved that every one of those grades is a falsified grade. It's something that's been manipulated. And, and so, like, I mean, it as far as they're concerned, the deck's been stacked against me, but luckily I'm dealing with idiots who just like throw me evidence whenever I ask for it. They just don't know I'm asking for it. And so that's why they give it to me freely. And that's why I put this together. It's because, like I said, dealing with idiots, and this has been stressful. It's taken its toll, but I was never afraid that I was going to lose just because I didn't do anything wrong, and I knew I could prove it. But the fact that like my entire life got destroyed for nothing because these women just decided to crucify me, and they're doing it. They're discriminating against me because I'm a disabled veteran, and so automatically because I'm a disabled veteran, if someone, as far as the VA is concerned, if I'm I'm automatically guilty because I'm a disabled veteran, so I must be crazy. So that is why I was stripped of all due process rights. That's why I every step along the way my rights were violated. Every step along the way lies are told, and they just kept telling more lies. But luckily I was paying attention, and that's why we are where we are right now. So thanks for watching. I'm sure I'll have new and interesting ways of how the VAs fucked me coming soon.